Miami, Florida. I've come here in pursuit of an alien invader. Just miles from here, in the famous Florida Everglades, a giant intruder is taking over.
When you think about the top predator in the Florida Everglades, you automatically think about the American alligator. However, there might be a new predator in town.
A predator capable of swallowing an entire alligator whole. A predator that can grow longer than this boat. A predator that by rights shouldn't even be here.
The giant Burmese python, one of the biggest snakes in the world, has been introduced into this area by the pet trade. Some of these snakes have escaped, others have been released into the wild, and they're growing in numbers.
Dumped by pet owners when they grow too big to keep, Burmese pythons are thriving in the Florida Everglades. They can grow up to 25 feet long, and they are one of the only snakes that can and do eat human beings. Once it grabs hold, a python wraps around its victim's body, tightening its quills until the prey suffocates. Then it swallows it whole. This silent eating machine has moved straight to the top of the Everglades food chain.
I'm on a mission to find a Burmese python. I want to see exactly how they are flourishing here in the Florida Everglades, what they're eating and how they're surviving. I'd also like to photograph this great predator.
To give myself the best chance of finding a Burmese python, I'm heading for an area that's close enough to the city for animals to have been released, but deep enough into the wilderness to suit them. An area covering 4,000 square miles of swamp and forest. Places perfect for pythons. But it's not just 20-foot snakes I need to worry about. This whole area is dominated by a second deadly predator, and it's another killer reptile. The American alligator. These giant lizards can grow 16 feet long and weigh up to 1,000 pounds. And they're every bit as dangerous as the python. So you'd think the last thing I'd want to do is get closer to the water.
As comfortable as it is, this boat is just too big and noisy to take further into the Everglades. Snakes I'm looking for will easily be spooked by it. I'm going to do the rest of my journey in the canoe.
It's not just that I need to be able to creep up on a python. Believe it or not, this is actually the dry season, so the waterways are shallow.
There's animal life everywhere. You can hear the birds all the time. There's insects wherever you look, and every now and then you see a snake or a lizard.
These saltwater mangroves are the outer limit of the python's range here in Florida, but there's plenty for them to feed on. And it's not long before I hear something that would be of definite interest to a python.
It's a possum. Wow. Look at his nose. You see all the scratches on his nose? This is so typical of an animal with a long snout because they're always sticking their snouts into places, and they do get into fights with other possums, so they get scratched on the nose and they get cuts and wounded. The older they get, the more scar-faced they usually are. And look at his tail. He's actually got a prehensile tail which helps him for climbing, and it's a good example here. He's just hanging on here. He's balancing on that branch, and he's got his tail hooked around here, just making sure he doesn't tip over the edge. Whoa. He's not running away from me, but he's just standing on guard, just making sure I don't come too close. Yeah, okay, come on. Ooh, what a beautiful boy. This is actually the only marsupial found in North America, which means that the female actually raises her young in a pouch on her tummy. And this is potential food for the Burmese python, no question about it. Warm-blooded, furry animal like this, definitely python food. Keep away from Burmese pythons.
It's no wonder the python is thriving here. They've adapted well to the local food supply. And the climate is hot and humid, just like it is back in Asia.
The success of the Burmese python in the Florida Everglades has taken everyone by surprise. It's estimated there are tens of thousands of these snakes. The situation has become so serious, even if I find one, I'm not allowed to return it to the wild.
Any exotic snakes found here in the Everglades must be handed in. They are used to help with research. But I'm working with a reptile sanctuary that will give any snakes I find a good home.
This waterway is taking me further inland, away from the coastal mangroves. It's getting very shallow, still dry season stuff over here. Lots of mosquitoes, there's mosquitoes everywhere. Spiders as well.
I'm heading for the freshwater swamps of the North Everglades. That's where I'm going to concentrate my python search. But some serious challenges lie in wait for me there. Heading north, I make it through the mangroves and arrive on the edge of a massive sawgrass marsh. Sawgrass is one of the oldest green plants on Earth, and it gives the Everglades its nickname, the River of Grass, because this whole area is actually a slow-running river, moving at a rate of just half a mile a day. I'm paddling against the flow, upriver, and into the heart of the Everglades. That's where I hope to find a python.
Sawgrass seems to be endless. Just goes on and on. Tough stuff. It gets its name from the serrated edges. See if I can actually get a sample here. If you handle it correctly, you can actually work with it. Serrated edges go that way. So if you pull your hands down that way, it can cut you. It can cut through flesh, cut through cloth. You've got to be very careful when you work with the stud. You can't just grab it and go. Pretty dangerous. And more than that, it's so thick over here. There can be gators hiding anywhere here. They move through the sawgrass, they negotiate it, and they have holes here all over the place. Pretty dangerous area, this.
And it's not just alligators in the water. Pythons are semi-aquatic and can stay submerged for up to half an hour. Despite these two top predators being so well camouflaged, it's only a matter of minutes before I spot something.
There's a gator lying just here. He's just lying there, he hasn't seen me. This would be something I'd like to photograph. Oh, he spotted me. Oh, he's going. I'd like to get him. I got him. I got him. Good. He keeps running. Oh, this is not what I had in mind for photography. But I didn't want him to get away. I thought I got just a chance. God, I would never tackle a gator normally. He's already quite a big guy. He's quite a big guy. Look at that. He's not so small. I would never touch anything any bigger than this with my bare hands, that's for sure. Oh, isn't he fantastic, though? I mean, just look at that. And for the moment, he's playing possum. That's exactly what he's doing. They do this. If you've got him and he feels he's been trapped, he's just going to hold still for a bit, but at any moment, he could just start wriggling again. So as soon as I let go and relax a bit, I'm going to be in trouble. So I must just keep him tight. He's in good shape too. He's obviously been feeding well. Look at the thickness of his tail. The solid fat is there. I must let go both hands. Wow, it's gorgeous. You can easily and clearly see now how round the nose is, and that's the way you tell. The first most obvious sign of how to tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile. Alligators have got replaceable teeth. I mean, there's a new tooth coming up all the time, constantly replacing the old. The top ones just drop off and they replace them. Hundreds and hundreds of teeth get replaced throughout their lifetime, possibly thousands. It's estimated that they can slam their jaws closed with tremendous power. They don't open them so easily. You can actually hold their jaws closed, but they slam them closed with about 3,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. It's incredible. So you never, never get your arm or any part of your body near a big gator. Well, up to this time in the Everglades, these guys have been the big predators, the main predators, the kings of the swamp. That might be changing now. These Burmese pythons grow really big. If Burmese pythons are doing well in the swamp, a large Burmese python of only about 14, 15 foot would eat this guy for breakfast, no problem at all. And as they get bigger, they can take bigger alligators as well. Okay, I'd like to get some pictures of him still, so first just bring him up a bit. He's been pretty well behaved. Just hold on. Look at the size of him. Oh, you're great. Yeah, that's quite a big gator, as it is. Quite a big gator. I'm lucky he's been cool. But I know he can freak out any minute and just go mad and loosen himself. And I've got to watch out for that. That's why. Keep my arm on it. There he goes. It's not good to have only one arm on his neck. Are you okay? I'm going to sneak over to the canoe. If I can just reach my camera, I'll still get a few shots. Okay. My camera's not far. You okay, boy? Okay. I'm gonna reach out there. I mean, I just love to get some shots of this guy. I mean, I've got my own alligator right in my hands. There we go. That's it, come on now. I'm scared I dropped the camera, so I'll just hold it like this. Let me get your head. Can I see your face? I'm taking a chance now because I'm messing around. Come on, open, that's it. Look at that. I can actually get a few shots. Hey? Fantastic. It's been pretty well behaved, I must say. One more from the side. Oh, that's fantastic. That looks great. It looks like he's looking at me straight out the swamp. Nice shot. Eh? Nice shot. I'm tempted to hold him by the tail and let him swim a bit because that'd be great, but I know what's going to happen. He's going to make a break and I'll never hold him. Give me one in the swamp. Okay. That looks really nice. Should I do it? I'll ask myself. If I'm going to hold his tail only, he's going to go. He's going to go. And if he turns... There we go. Oh God. I've lost my gator. Well, that's it. I found him in the swamp. He's taken off into the swamp.
Time for me to take off too. To maximize my chances of finding a python, I've got to cover a lot of ground. I'm in the North Everglades, heading for Miccosukee land. The Miccosukee are a Native American tribe who used to live right here in the middle of this massive freshwater swamp. I've arranged to meet with Billy, a Miccosukee native who knows this area well.
Hey!
Hello.
Hi!
Possibly he has a lead for me.
I'll be more than welcome to take you.
Very fantastic. Mind if I come aboard?
Yes.
Great. Excellent.
The fastest way to get to this potential python site is on Billy's airboat, and I like that idea.
You think I can drive your boat?
Have you ever drove one?
No, I've never driven one before. Can I try?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let's do it.
We're heading for a gator hole, a small water oasis popular with wildlife in the dry season. Pythons are opportunistic feeders, eating whenever they find food, so a gator hole is a very good place to search. over the water with next to no effort makes a welcome change.
Really fantastic driving an airboat. Takes you a little while to get used to it. But better than paddling that canoe, I had to actually push my way through the sawgrass. These machines go straight over everything. They're totally flat bottom. They're very noisy and you don't want to do it for too long, but it's the only way to get through here. Keep going straight, what do you think?
Yes.
100%. Okay, let's go.
It's a good job Billy's here to guide me. I can't tell one patch of sawgrass from the next, but Billy's navigating this landscape like it's signposted. And it's not long before we arrive.
This is a very good example of a gator hole. Probably generations of gators have slowly hollowed this out, right down to bedrock. Could be 10 or 11 or 12 or more feet deep. When the water gets low around this area, when the dry season is in its peak, this could still hold a lot of water. And that's a great attraction for other animals. Any kind of animal, fish and everything can survive here. You never know. The Burmese python I'm looking for could also be in here. Those snakes are good in the water and they can go down deep and they can stay under for half an hour. So it's always wise for me to take a chance and scoop around a little bit and check it out. I might just find something interesting. Put this little machine together just for such an occasion. This will tell me also just how deep it is over here. And just as I thought, it's really deep. You never know what you might bring up. This is a haven for animals. Oh. A gator or something down here moving, because he just pulled right out from under the stick. Oh, there he goes. Oh. Ah! Whatever I've got here is big. It's heavy. Oh, look, I see its back. Oh, it's a turtle. I've got a turtle. Oh, man, look at the size of this. This is not just any turtle. This is a Florida snapping turtle. Wow. These guys get really big, sometimes up to 40 pounds or more. Is he enormous or what? He's gorgeous. He's fantastic. Let me just put him down for 1 second. I want to get this net out the way so I can work. I don't want him to take off. If he takes off like a shot, he's going to be gone back in. Now, first, I want to have a good look at him. Got some stuff in his mouth. Look at the claws on this guy. These guys are mean predators, let me tell you. They're powerful predators. Watch how he's pushing against my hands here. Don't let my hands get too close to that mouth. They grab hold of something, and these guys can eat pretty big stuff. But what they do, let's put him down gently. What they do, they grab the prey with their mouth, they snap and they grab it, and then they claw it with their claws, and they actually break it up. It can be a rat that size. If he can catch him, he'll hold him and he'll eat him up. Wow, look at this condition of this guy's shell. You can see he's an old boy. Look how it's all cracked over here. It's cracked and weathered. He's had a hard, hard life. Look at this. It's been broken over here almost. You never know what he's been through. I'm sure he's more than 20 years old. What I want to do is put him, rest him over here like this. There we go. Hello, you okay? Ah, look at that jaw. Look at that jaw. See the sharp point at the end of the jaw too? Oh, if you get your finger in there, and those jaws are slightly serrated as well. Man, if he gets hold of you, he'll know all about it. If I was to stick my finger in there foolishly, he'd grab my finger, he'd chop it clean off, and he'd swallow it down. No problem at all. Oh, look at that. He knows where my hand is. See that? Okay, let me get some grass here. I might just tempt him here. He's a solid piece of sawgrass here. I wonder if he'll take onto that. You gonna bite this for me? Don't. Oh, look at that. He says, I'm gonna kill this thing. I'm gonna kill it. He says, whatever it is, I'm gonna kill it. Look at the concentration on his face. Imagine now that's your finger. That wouldn't be fun at all. Hey, you're gonna let go. He won't let go. It's not called a snapping turtle for nothing, eh? I bet I could pick him up with us. Look at this. He's not letting go. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Only looks like a wrinkled old man, but in actual fact, he's probably in his prime right now. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Fantastic find. Didn't find my Burmese. But at least I found something just as interesting. Anyway, this guy's such a powerful predator. I bet my guns that he's eaten everything that's in this pond. So there's not much chance that I'm going to find a python here anyway. But this guy can go back to his little kingdom over here. Best thing to do is just keep my hands really clear, grab the tail, Off you go, boy. Thanks for that. That was a great little visit.
Before we part company, Billy gives me another tip, to head west for the cypress swamp. That's where the Miccosukee would expect to find snakes.
That's excellent. Thanks, man. I appreciate it very much. It was great being with you. Give me a shove if you can.
Good luck again finding your python.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'll let you know. You go well.
With no python to show for my first day in the Everglades, it's time to head for dry land. This is a deserted chickie, a traditional Miccosukee dwelling.
Look at this, isn't this fantastic? This is an old abandoned hunting camp. There are lots of these dotted on the islands throughout the Sawgrass. Some are in use, some are not. This one looks like it got hit by a hurricane at some time. But it's a great place for me to set up my camp for tonight. Always nice to make a fire at night. Not only is it comforting, but it warns any predators that are in the area that there is somebody here. Well, this is still the best time of year for me to come and look for these pythons. I mean, the water's quite low, which makes it difficult to travel. Of course, insects are a problem. They're always a problem. Right now, it's winter, it's the coolest months, and it's not too bad, but there are still a lot of mozzies around here all the time. But you can just imagine what it would be like in summer. You'd be covered in mozzies. You'd be actually black with insects. So this is a better time of year for sure.
But mosquitoes aren't the only dry season menace.
Of course, everything changes in the glades at night. This is when the big predators come out. And it can be pretty dangerous to move around here, especially at the water's edge, 'cause that's where the gators are. And they're almost invisible. And there's only one way to spot gators at night. And I'm going to try that right now. Look at all those eyes out there. Must be dozens of gators out there. Some of them look really big as well. This is a dangerous place to be. Must be a lot of good food around here. This is why they're all congregated here.
Alligators may look heavy and awkward, but they can run up to 30 miles an hour, and they like to feed between dusk and dawn. With so many hungry neighbors around, I'm going to have to keep the fire well fed tonight. Yesterday, Billy told me that the cypress swamp was a good place for snakes, but I've had another idea. I'm going to spend a day python hunting here in the Sawgrass. I'm heading for a cluster of hammocks, small tree islands dotted amongst the marsh.
I do imagine that the snakes would use the sawgrass to cross from one of these hammocks to the next, where the trees are, where the high ground is, where there's lots of food for them, possibly mammals, birds, stuff they can eat. So if I head into the sawgrass towards those hammocks, I might just be in the right place to find Burmese python.
Pythons are especially elusive. Their skins are perfectly camouflaged in this habitat. So the only way to do this is to search the ground on foot. Time to brave the sawgrass. It's nasty stuff, and a favorite nesting ground for gators. Not only do they hide here, their gator holes are dotted everywhere.
This is something I've got to watch out for while I'm crossing the sawgrass. As the water recedes in the dry season like now, there remains water here, and this is an attraction to all other animals that might need water, and so it becomes a feeding ground for snakes as well. One. I've actually got one. I cannot believe it. And this is what I've been looking for. That's it. That's a Burmese python. And it's a baby. It's a very young one. Oh, and he's crossed. Look at the mouth. He's angry. Watch that. He can give you a little nip. Look at that. Even a baby snake like this has already got a lot of teeth in the mouth. If he gives you a bite, he'll draw blood. That's for sure. You can see straight away, this is not one of the pets that have been released or escaped into the wilds here. This guy's a hatchling, and he's completely wild. He's never been handled before. And I imagine here in the Everglades, they get everything they need. Also, the climate is warm, the water is warm. There's so much stuff here that he can feed on. Pythons have a bit of an advantage over other snakes when it comes to breeding, because they actually look after the eggs and help with the incubation, making sure that the babies survive. Most snakes just drop their young and leave immediately. And right now, he's ready to pass. Right there, just shows you that these guys have been eating really well. And this guy looks like he's doing fine. He's in really good shape. No problems here at all.
That was great. But what I'm really after is a full-grown snake. Pythons 13 foot long have been spotted in the glades, and I want something just as big. Large pythons tend to stay on the ground rather than up in trees. So I spend the afternoon searching for trails in the grass along the water's edge, evidence that pythons are in the area.
It's pretty tough going through the sawgrass. If I stick to the channels, I've got a chance. Some of it's impenetrable, but over here I can at least pole my way through. One advantage is it keeps the wind away from me a little bit. Temperature inside the sawgrass here is quite a bit higher than it is outside there. But it's still tough going.
Pretty soon, the sawgrass is so thick that I have no chance of spotting anything.
Come on. Nothing else. Pretty much stuck there. Lost it that time. Nearly lost it. So easy to tip over here. So much stuff in the water. Oh, man. This is the worst piece I've had so far.
I knew Everglades pythons would be hard to find, but it's the terrain here that makes it near impossible. Time to head back to camp and plan my route to the cypress swamp.
Really a cold night last night. I was amazed how cold it gets over here. And I was surrounded by mosquitoes, covered in mosquitoes the whole night, really hard going. I'm getting away from all that this morning. I'm heading up north, I'm heading towards the cypress swamp. I hope I got a better chance there with the pythons.
swamp is said to be home to all kinds of snakes. And as I get my bearings in here, I can see why.
This is all cypress swamp. Not just cypress trees. It's willow, potash. There's thousands of acres of it. Perfect place for pythons. It doesn't matter there's a lot of water here because they're excellent swimmers. Most snakes are excellent swimmers.
But I'm more likely to find them on land, and that's what I'm trying to get to.
All this water around, you wouldn't believe that it's actually the dry season. That's my problem. The water is actually very low, and there's all this debris in the water, and it's all lying just under the surface. Lots of bits of wood and fallen logs. And of course, the water's cold, and not only that, I don't want to fall in this water because this is alligator country. There's definitely alligators everywhere here. And they're so well camouflaged, and they're lying just under the surface, and I can't see them, so I'm trying my best to get through here without tipping over. This is so frustrating. Come on. It's getting difficult. I can hear the roots and the logs and stuff hitting the bottom of my canoe, and I can feel them. And it feels like they're almost going through the bottom. This is getting a bit hairy. Doing everything I can, but it looks like I might have reached the end of the road. I don't want to get into this water. I really don't. But it looks like I've got no choice. I'm going to have to get in here. I'm going to have to drag this canoe. This is really what I've been trying to avoid. Not only is it uncomfortable and difficult, it's dangerous. You just don't know what's under the water. There's roots and all kinds of stuff that could break your leg. And you never know, I might even step on an alligator. This is terrible terrain to move through. I just can't do this anymore. It's too difficult to pull this canoe all the way, even though I know there's deep water up ahead. For now, I'm going to have to leave it here and just move on. As the dry season settles in like this, and these last low-lying areas have got the only water, it's a fantastic place for game to congregate. And all kinds of snakes and stuff will be here for the water. Probably one of the best places I can search for my python. Really bad luck I've had to leave my canoe behind. With the terrain this rugged, I would never have got it through.
In this cool weather, snakes seek out heat. So this is the best time of day to be searching for them, along fallen logs and branches where they soak up the sun.
Can you see that? It's a cottonmouth. Moving very, very slowly. This guy's just lying here catching some sun. And he thinks he's very well camouflaged. See? There he goes. I've got it. forgot, it's a young cottonmouth. Oh, she's so beautiful. This is one of Florida's deadliest snakes. They're pretty vicious little snakes. They can bite, and they got a very powerful venom. I just got to get him out of here. Come on, come on. There we go. Oh, I got him. It's been quite cool today, so he's not as active as he might have been, which makes it easier for me to work with him. Just get him to calm down a little bit. Come on, calm down. Look at the colors on this guy. He's gorgeous. I want to take a photo of this guy. He's so gorgeous. Put you down carefully. Sometimes if you put them down really gently and he realizes he's not in any danger, whoops, whoops, no, he wants to get away now. What I'm going to do then, just hold him like this and actually get a shot of him on the log, just the front half of his body. But I've got to be very careful so that I don't lose concentration and get bitten by the snake. That's it. Well, I'm going to take him with both hands. I'm going to right up the camera so you can have a real good look at him. I would never have thought I could do this, and I shouldn't be doing this with a cottonmouth. Look at the camera. Go on, look at the camera. You're such a good boy. Look at the camera. Go look at the camera. There we go. Look at that tongue. Look at that tongue action. Isn't that amazing? That's totally amazing. Beautiful. Smelling what's going on. Looking at the camera. Oops. Oh, just got to be very careful. I mean, he's showing no aggression whatsoever. But one little mistake, he bites you. One little fang, one little drop of venom, and you know all about it. What I'm going to do is put him exactly where he was and leave him here. So I'm going to move away very slowly so that he doesn't spook. I never thought that I'd be able to handle a cottonmouth like this. It's incredible. Go away slowly and see if he'll stay, because I don't want to disturb him if I don't have to. You got 10 there, my boy. I'll get out the way.
That was a very lucky find, but not surprising. Every inch of the cypress swamp, its trees, land, and water is a potential hiding place for a snake. And a 13-foot python can curl into a space just 2 feet square.
This is interesting, because this is definitely snake feces. Over here, it looks like it may be undigested hair, a bit of uric acid you can see here, probably a few more bits have dropped down there. I'm going to take it up, break it up. See, a snake usually digests just about everything, but every now and then you get a bit of fur, maybe a bit of feather, maybe a tooth or so. This looks like fur. If you could analyze that, you'd probably be able to tell exactly what animal is eaten, but look at all the fur inside there. This is definitely python feces, I'm sure of that. Look at the fur inside there. Wow. Okay. I'm hot on the trail of pythons, I'm sure of that.
And from the look of things, it's a fairly big one.
Hear that? That's baby alligator calling. Have a look, see if I can find him. Oh, he's caught up in netting. This is something that happens quite often. Fishermen lose their nets. Anything could get trapped in this. And it's actually cold in the water. He's actually frozen here. He would actually drown here if I didn't find this guy. Look at that guy. I've got to be very careful because there's baby alligators in this area. Almost certainly there's a mother in the area. There we are, look at that. There we go. Listen to him call him, and that's dangerous because when they call like that and the mother hears that, she comes like a shot. Isn't he gorgeous? You're calling. Yes, I've saved you. It's okay. Don't worry. Look at his mouth. Isn't he always opening his mouth? Look at your little teeth. You can already see his teeth. He's not dangerous at this size, but I wouldn't put my finger in there anyway. Alligators can nip even at this size. And he's stunningly gorgeous. Always giving me a strike. He said, yes, I'm not your mother. I'm just saving you. Oh, isn't he gorgeous? Isn't that what? Oh, yes. You see that? Still got instinct, hey? Even like this. Been trapped, been freezing cold, under the water, and he still get me if he can because he wants to get away now. So cute, aren't you? Yeah. See if his mother will find him. I'm going to let him go and maybe he'll join up with her. All right, you little guy. Off you go. I'm so glad you're okay now. There we go.
I'm going to follow him because I think I know exactly where that little gator is heading.
Isn't this incredible? The baby has actually found its mother. Well, the mother's been moving closer while I've been here. And she's come right up to the baby and they're looking at each other nose to nose. That's It's just incredible. I mean, I've been so worried about alligators, and I'm right here in the swamp, in the presence of them. It's fantastic. I've never quite experienced anything like this. But I'm going to leave them alone. I'm really close. I'd rather I moved away and give them their own space. Mother and child reunion.
Time for me to reunite with my kid.
It looks like a snake. Holy crap! This might be for me. I've got him. I've got him, and he's a big boy. This is more what I was hoping to find. And he's heavy and he's fat. He's in very good condition. Excellent. These snakes are obviously doing very well out here. And he's a struggler. He wants to get away. Oh, I gotta hold on. Yeah, this guy's bad. He's bad. He's got a temper. I've just got to try and get to the head without getting bitten, because even, wow, look at his mouth. He's open. He's trying to bite anything. He's trying to bite at anything you can see right now. They've got 100 teeth in the mouth, a mighty bite that he can give you. They're like razor blades. Don't do that. I'm scared to grab him because they've got a lot of teeth. Oh no. Oh, he's got me. He's got me on the pants. Come on. Let me get him up. There we go. He's quite a feisty guy. He's going to turn on me. There we go. I got him. Woo. Where's your head, boy? I got to get to the head. Come on. Got it. I mean, this is a young snake by standards for a Burmese python. But he's got an attitude. He knows I'm grabbing hold of him. Maybe he knows he's not supposed to be here. Let me just see if I can wrap him up on my arm a little bit. He's getting a little agitated. He's got his mouth open there. Okay, got his mouth open. Sometimes you can actually see the teeth just curling around my body, putting on a bit of pressure over there, constricting my arm. And they are capable. It's one of the few snakes which are actually capable of grabbing onto a human being, constricting him and swallowing him. To me, it's amazing that I'm catching Burmese python this size already in the Florida Everglades. This snake is thousands and thousands of kilometers away from where it's supposed to be. So it's something completely unique. I've never experienced anything like this. Well, fortunately, he's calmed down quite a lot that I've got him now. But I know first chance he gets, he's gonna zap me again. I couldn't believe it. He went right through my legs. I couldn't find him for a minute. And when I pulled up again, he had bitten me right in the crotch. Luckily, he got loose there as well. I didn't want him hanging on over there for too long. Okay, rather just keep him. See if I can put him somewhere safely on the log or on the mud bank. Get some nice photos of this guy in his natural habitat, which has now become his natural habitat. It's just incredible. I mean, I heard about these giant predators being in the Everglades, as well as alligators, of course, and becoming confrontational. I mean, alligators could kill the snake. If an alligator grabs this snake, he will kill it for sure. He could kill it with no effort at all and swallow it down. But a big python has got a good chance to grab onto an alligator and pull it into its coils, and then he could constrict the alligator. It would be a battle of titans, because it's anybody's guess as to what would happen. Oh boy, I've got my hand here. It's got me really tight, so I can't actually get to my camera. There we go. Hardest part about getting a photograph of a snake, firstly, is to find the snake, and then secondly, getting the snake to sit still. Not an easy task. First thing I'm gonna do is just get a shot of the snake. Got a really wide shot here. That's fantastic. I'll try and get a bit above him. Look, he's going to move off in a minute. He's going to disappear like a shot. He's just sort of stunned for the moment. He's let go of me. Can I get away? He's going to try any minute. He's going to move on it now. There he goes. Maybe he'll walk along the log. That'd be gorgeous. Gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? Get a close-up of the head. What a snake. This is fantastic. Let him just crawl a bit along here. Get his whole body stretched out. He's found a different escape. He's thought up is out. Okay. I'm have to pull him back because he's otherwise going to disappear on me. Isn't he fantastic? Look at that body, eh? And powerful. You hold on to him, watch him pull. And if he gets himself jammed around the tree like this, see how the muscles go around there? And watch him pull. Watch where my hand is here. I've got him here. Now he gets his body there. Now watch. Look at that. You cannot pull him back. And he will slowly go forward. You'll take the next set of muscles and then work on these. Watch this, watch this. I cannot hold him back. But I got to get to him. Otherwise he's going to get away and I won't get him out. I got to get to his head again. He's going to get right up in the tree and I'll never find him again. Let's get him out. Come on, boy. And this is the way you get bitten. This is the way you get bitten. Why not? Oh. Come on down. Oh, okay. Oh. And he fell. Now we come. There we go. I want your head. Come on. Okay, there we go. I got him. I got him. Yes, yes, I know. You want to get away, but I've got you. Okay. Now I've got to unwind him. There we go. Oh. He saw my face and he thought my face is close enough to give me a go. What a snake. Because he's not a native to this country, I can't release him back into the wild. But I do know somebody who's going to give him a very good home. What I got to do is just bag him and deliver him. Do that. Now you're going to take to this boy. I'm going to put you right in there and feed him. I hope he doesn't bite me. Get him down step by step. That's it. And off you go. Nothing wrong.
With my python safely in the care of an animal sanctuary, it's time for me to start the journey home. Back through the cypress swamp, sawgrass and marsh. But it's been worth it.
This trip has been amazing. It feels to me like I've paddled my way right across the Florida Everglades. I've seen so many animals and I've taken fantastic photographs. But when I got that python, that was the highlight. It's pretty obvious that the pythons are increasing in population here in the Everglades. That may or may not be a good thing. The one thing's for sure, I'm always happy to hear snakes on the increase because where these snakes come from in Asia, they've been completely decimated. One day, this may be the only place in the world where you'll actually see Burmese pythons alive and well.
This is the Australian wilderness, my home away from home, because it possesses some of the deadliest creatures on the planet.
I've got him. There we go. Try and get him to settle down a little bit. Oh, let me take a strike there. Stand. These guys can move very fast and strike out quite quickly. Look at that. This is a Western brown. And this is a highly, highly venomous snake, one of Australia's most dangerous snakes. Although these guys need only scratch you. You might not even feel it, and it would be enough venom to actually be dangerous to you. Oh, frost bite. Frost bite. Look at that. Ah! Going for my foot there. There we go. There's about more than 100 species of snakes in Australia. If you collectively take all the brown snakes together, they cause more bites than any other of the Australian snakes. I think I'll just release him and he can be on his way. There we go. He's such a good boy, hey? You can get your freedom again. Off you go. Wait till he gets home to his wife tonight and says, do you know what happened to me today? I'm traveling through the northern regions of Australia and I'm heading west. This area is vast and it's mostly unpopulated, but it's well known for its many species of highly venomous snakes, as well as other reptiles. And I'm hoping that on this journey, I'm going to get a chance to photograph some of these animals.
My assignment is to document these creatures in their natural habitat before everything changes. Because Australia's native reptiles are under attack from a relentless invader. the cane toad. The toads present three deadly threats. They devour anything that moves. They eat so much they disrupt the entire food chain. And they can poison anything that tries to stop them. Already they've taken over huge expanses of the country. From Darwin, I'm driving through miles of cane toad country. I'm heading for the Kimberley, one of the few remaining pockets of northern Australia untouched by the toad invasion. My aim is to try and photograph the reptiles there before the toads take over once and for all.
Territory up in Darwin, afternoon or evening storm with a top of 31. In Katherine, an afternoon shower and a top of 33. Relative humidity, 91%. Still no wind, it must be pretty still out there. In fact, it feels
It's
like
only 9 a.m. and the heat and humidity are already intense. But nothing seems to stop the advancing amphibian army.
I've been driving for miles now in this particular area and seeing lots of toads crossing the road. And it's got to be cane toads because they're big like this, they're the real thing. And there's more. I'm seeing groups of them. There's like 4 or 5 at a time crossing the road. Whoa. I want to just pull over a bit and see what's going on over here. Holy mackerel! Just look at all these toads. Ah! There's toads everywhere. I've never seen so many toads in my life. Look at the size of them. Some of them are really big as well. Look at this guy over here. Oh, there's another one there. Look at the size of these guys. They're enormous. Enormous. Look at that. Off you go, boy. That's the biggest cane toad I've ever seen in my life. Just look at it. It's fantastic. The cane toad is the biggest toad in the world, and they get even a lot bigger than this. The other thing that's very obvious on this toad is the bulging poison glands, which you can see there on each side. And if you actually squeeze that, massage it, you might actually force some of that poison to come out. See that? It actually squirts out. The poison is that powerful, it can kill an animal. It might even kill a crocodile. It might even kill a human. If you had this in your mouth and it absorbed through the tissue in the mouth, it could even kill an adult human being. So it's a very powerful poison, and that makes this, in some ways, a very dangerous toad. These toads were introduced into the country decades ago, around about 1935. The hope was that they would feed on the cane beetles which were causing havoc in the sugarcane fields. Unfortunately, the experiment went wrong, and these toads did not wipe out the cane beetles at all. What actually happened was these toads began to breed, and a female like this, she can lay about 30,000 eggs at a time, and she can sometimes do that twice in 1 year. It seems these toads are still spreading at an alarming rate, and right now they're moving westward. Well, I think I can let you go now. Go back to your buddies. I've got to get on the road, and I've got to try and get ahead of you guys because I've got some snakes to catch and photograph. Off you go.
Beyond Australia's parched centre, few places are safe from these toxic invaders. But my assignment is to find an area of outback as yet unaffected and document the reptiles that live there before the toads arrive. What I need is untouched wilderness. It's rare to find reptiles anywhere else these days, but there are some survivors, if you know where to look for them.
What's this coming up ahead here? I can't believe this. Suddenly coming out of the bush, there's trucks everywhere, trucks and cars. Stuff everywhere, look, they've been dumped here. This would be a fantastic place for snakes. I mean, snakes could hide in all of these compartments and under these trucks. This is fantastic. I've got to look around here.
I have no idea why all these cars are here. It's a scrapyard in the middle of nowhere. could have sworn there would be reptiles here.
When it's really hot like this, snakes are looking for any shelter they can get. And what's better than a shady car like this turned all upside down? Let's have a look. Nah, nothing.
If there are snakes here, there's only one other place they could be hiding.
Water looks pretty grubby, doesn't it? Probably full of all kinds of elements dissolved from these cars all over the years. But at the same time, this is a great place for reptiles. Any kind of reptiles could be hiding in here. Must have a look.
I know what you're thinking, but if you're looking for reptiles, you've got to do it properly.
That's a monitor lizard. He's trying to get at us. He's right on the far side of the car. Come on now. I can't reach him. He's trying to get up. He's just here. If I can get this up. It's a snake. Ah! The monitor lizard was running from. It's an olive python. Whew. The python must have been hunting him and chased him. He took refuge inside the car. But I've got him. You can see. See when he looks at you like that? He's going to strike. Got him. Look at that. You can actually see the sheen on his body when you put him in the sun like it. All the reflections off the droplets. It's fantastic. It's like an iridescent color. It's almost like oil on water. And if you look at the jaw over here, these snakes have got heat receptors, which you see running along the base there, and he can pick up minute changes in heat, and it helps him to find his prey, especially at night. Sometimes they actually go underwater and they'll grab their prey from below, like a duck or something like that. He'll actually come up from the bottom, grab and pull her down. They constrict their prey, grab onto it with their teeth, pull the animal into their coils, roll up and put on the pressure. So they slowly suffocate the animal. And a guy this size would certainly eat monitor lizard, he'd eat rats, quite big rats at that, and he'd slowly progress until he's starting to eat wallabies. That's what's always interesting about pythons. Their jaws are able to open largely. They can split down the center. On the bottom jaw, it can open sideways. The ligaments on the top and bottom jaw are connected so that it stretches, and it takes in an animal much larger than its head side. And why muscle action actually forces it down into the stomach. And if it's something quite big, it may take a couple of weeks to actually digest that. Look at that. Look at how he's stretching his body out. Powerful body. See all the muscles working over there? Keeps himself erect. Gloriously colored. Look at the sheen on his body now that the sun is reflecting off him. Gorgeous. I mean, look at that. It's like a butter yellow tinged with light green. It's phenomenal. The scales perfectly formed all the way down. What a beautiful snake. And watch him when he gets to the water. He gets excited straight away and he just wants to take off. Look at him go. Disappears under the water. We've got to keep an eye on him. Just the head above. And then he goes down. Lose him very easily like that. He swims so beautifully. They're like magic in water. I mean, they just float along. And they can go underwater, and they can stay at least a half an hour underwater without taking a breath. Really good. Off you go, boy. Into the water, swim away. You've done your thing.
An olive python usually wouldn't try to eat a cane toad, but monitor lizards would. And they would die in the process, leaving olive pythons with very little to eat. Before long, the whole food chain is in disarray. Since just 101 cane toads were released in 1935, they've spread over 1 million square kilometers. Within 20 years, they predicted to cover twice that area. By that time, their numbers are likely to be in the hundreds of millions. As I approach the Western Australian border, the gateway to the Kimberley, things suddenly get busy.
Look at all the people here. All with torches, cars. Just gonna pull over here, see what's going on. The guys on the left. Somebody here. Hey, okay, man. What's
Yeah,
going on?
not too bad. We're just out doing a bit of toad busting.
Toad busting? What's that?
Do you want to come and have a look?
Yeah, I want to have a look. Bet your life. You got a bag full of toads?
Yeah, cane toads. Caught in the last half an hour or so.
There must be millions of these guys, and you're walking up and down the roads and collecting them just like this.
Yeah, that's right. You know, each night we're coming out getting a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
We're definitely slowing them up. If people don't do anything, then they're just going to take over. But if there's people actually getting out there, trying to catch them and doing something, then we might be able to slow them down. Like these toads at the front line here. This is like the front line of the toad advancement.
Yeah, you're right there now. So I think you're doing a fantastic job against all odds, I suspect. It's great to meet you. Thank you very much, mate.
The toad situation is far worse than I could ever have imagined. My journey through cane toad country has given me food for thought. Despite their best intentions, I can't imagine that a few volunteers can stem the tide for long.
I've been thinking about those guys I met last night, the toad busters. A lot of interesting information they gave me. I didn't realize that the toads had reached this far and that they were still spreading even further. If I'm going to get the kind of animals I want to photograph, I might have to get ahead of those toads.
The front line is advancing at 50 kilometers each and every year. Experts predict the toads will breach the Kimberley within 12 months. One of Australia's last great wildernesses, and all its reptiles faces a grim future. It's very different to the Australia I first visited. Then it was easy to find wild places full of animals.
The first time I ever came to Australia was just over 10 years ago. And I bought a van and I traveled for nearly a year. Travel the roads, stay away from the cities, just see all the wilderness and the wildlife stuff, never knowing what you're going to see next. It was fantastic. I always said I'll come back.
But I did not expect to find the country under threat. Every year, this normally arid desert endures a monsoon season. Massive storms last for hours. 90% of the year's rain falls in just a few months. Flash floods rip away the road, making progress slow. Luckily, these tropical storms are over just as quickly as they begin. Because to get into the wild, I need to get off the beaten track. And something tells me now's as good a time as any. I'm heading off the map, but at least I won't get run off the road. Because this is a track that very few other vehicles will be taking.
That might be a problem. I think I'll give it a go anyway.
Rain may make traveling tricky, but it's good news for snake hunting.
Well, after the recent downpours we've been having, it's amazing to see such a clear day again. It's fantastic and it's going to be really hot. But there's lots of water being left behind, lots of pools of water. And that's not a bad thing at all because that attracts reptiles, especially reptiles that like to be close to water, that feed around water. You might get monitor lizards, you might get pythons, various things. And there's pools and billabongs everywhere after those downpours.
This is the Kimberley, the pristine wilderness I've been heading for. Few people live here, Just 38,000 in a land the size of California. Conditions are simply too harsh. As I head deeper into the outback, the road disintegrates into nothing.
Just look at this. The track's completely covered. I mean, I try and keep going westward, but you just don't know. And you get so lost here. Most of the time I'm lost. I'm lost right now. This is coming to an end. The grass is virtually coming right over the bonnet. What was a track here once possibly is certainly not a track anymore. Wow. Sometimes you just got to take a chance and make your way. You'll never catch something in this grass. I need a more open, flat area, more rocks, more packed rocks, packed on top of each other where the snakes can hide under. That would be ideal. I'm going to go circle around these rocks over here and see what I come up with on the other side. I can just find my way through this grass. Wow, it's a fantastic area. It's incredible. I'm totally surrounded by this red sandstone. Well, you know, I've been riding so much, I've been driving a lot. I'm going to get out and take a chance. There's a lot of rocks here, a lot of rock edges over here, a lot of fallen rocks. I'm going to take a look around. I might just find something. This is serious grass. It's always dangerous and nerve-wracking walking through grass like this because we know there's snakes everywhere. And you just don't know when you might step on one. Look at all these formations. You got to be careful though. Wherever you touch, everything breaks. It's all sandstone. It's very soft. It gives way. You got to be very careful how you step and even where you grab. It's really humid. It's really, really humid. Whew. But just look at this valley. Look at the surrounding. It's totally incredible. Millions of years ago, this was just sand dunes, giant red sand dunes. And it's just a fabulous valley. It's got rocks everywhere, rocks on top of rocks, and it's got trees. I mean, there must be snakes here. I might find arboreal snakes here. Snakes can be under any of these rocks. Lizards, there's lots of geckos I've been seeing. It's a great place to go looking for stuff. I have to get some photos as well. Okay. Let's see what I can find.
With not a toad in sight, it's time to find the native reptiles I need to photograph. But conditions are far from ideal. The Kimberley is the hottest place in all Australia, and this breathless sandstone bowl is like Death Valley. It's well over 40 degrees down here. And it's so humid my sweat isn't evaporating, so it can't cool me down. Reptiles rely on heat to power their bodies, but at this temperature, Even they seek out the shade.
And there he goes, there he goes. He's under here. He's right under here. Oh, there he goes. Oh, I've got him. I've got him. Oh, look at that. Wow. Now to the untrained eye, you think I've just caught a snake. You'll notice he's not trying to bite me, because in actual fact, it's not a snake. Okay, this is a legless lizard. A fantastic animal, unbelievable animal. Look at that long, slender head going into the neck, all in one part. Long, slender body, going all the way through. The difference is over here that if a snake grabbed onto this guy right here at the edge of the tail, he can drop his tail just like any lizard can. This is a lizard. I suspect that this guy has lost part of his tail at one time, because you can always see the difference. The regeneration is from there. If you see that, the coloration, see how the stripes go along there and the dotted line goes up to there and doesn't go any further. So I'm imagining that at one time he probably got grabbed by some predator and he released that piece of his tail. That's the fantastic thing about lizards. They can regrow their tails. Snakes can't do that. If a snake's tail is chopped off, it's gone forever. These are opposite to other animals. Some animals have regenerated limbs while these animals have given up their limbs. There, you can see them quite clearly over there like that. There, see there? That's where the legs were. Tiny little legs which have now so greatly reduced. If you x-ray the back over here, would you see the little pelvis that still remains there, which is basically steadily moving away, disintegrating, disappearing, evolving to nothing. Look at the face, eh? Isn't it gorgeous? I mean, look at that pointy little nose. This is probably really good for going through underbrush and even through sand. And the nostrils, tiny little nostrils right up top, and further back here, the eyes. I'm going to put him down, take a couple of really good photographs of this guy. He's so friendly. I'm so surprised. He's just settled down to such a perfect pose over here. I didn't think I'd get a chance, but I'm going to run back and get my camera where I dropped it up top there. And if he just keeps this pose, this will make the most perfect photograph of this guy. Just stay right there, boy. Don't move. Don't move. Okay. Fantastic. Wow. He's beautiful. He's stunning. Set him up there more, gosh. So beautiful, aren't you? Yeah. I'm just trying to set him up for one or two more shots. Right on the rock here. Seeing as he's turned out to be such a friendly guy, just get another shot or two there. Oh, fantastic shot. Excellent. But one good thing, this guy doesn't eat frogs under any condition, so he's not in any danger of being poisoned by a cane toad. However, cane toads get pretty big, and a fairly large cane toad might grab this guy and just eat him down. So that's a possibility he's got to watch out for. One more shot, then I'm going to put him back under his rock out of the heat and let him go. What a great little animal. Look at him posing for me. Hey, she's a lovely little thing, aren't you? Gorgeous. She's so beautiful. Stunning, eh? Where in the world can you just pick up a wild animal like that and it settles down in your hand like that? Quite happy to be with you. That's a fabulous animal. I love this little creature. I'm going to put him back under here. See if he'll just settle down, keep him cool over here. You want to be under there or you want to be out? Eh? Oh, he's taking off. Off he goes, he says, I want to go. All right, if he's happy to go and find his own spot, I'll just let him go. Off you go then. Oh, I've got some great shots. I'm really pleased about that. I wonder where's my tongs. Ah, there we go.
My first reptile from the Kimberley. It's a good start. But now I want a proper snake. If anything, it's getting even hotter. And to make matters worse, the animals I'm looking for are almost impossible to spot.
Oh, just look at that.
A death adder, one of the deadliest snakes in the world.
Isn't that just perfect camouflage? Can you believe that? I'll get a picture of this guy. Look at that. He's See that? You can barely see him, eh? That's perfect, perfect camouflage. That's fantastic. Look here. He's given himself away with the tail. See the tail sticking out there? Oops. See that? Instant reaction. He's got the head there and look at the body. It's tight S's, typical of a viper type of pose. Tight S's over there. And look at him flattening himself out as I touch him. See the banded body so well camouflaged in his leaves. There's the head now. Quite clearly. He's getting agitated and he's defending himself. Look at that. Come on, I want to try and get him out a little bit. Death adder. You've got to be very, very careful with these guys because they're lightning fast strikers and they're short and stubby. So you can't just pick him up with your hand. You've got to keep him at bay. Just trying to hold him back. I want him to settle down a little bit. He's really keen. You'll see how fast he's striking. You'll see he acts just like a true viper. Curls his body up, poses him forward, and will strike instantly. Instantly, and a very fast strike. And he wants to just get out of here. He says, I want to get away from this guy. See the tongue? Watch the tongue flickering. He's marking exactly where I am. See the bend in the neck here? Exactly from that position. He can lunge forward. And they can lunge forward the full length of their body. He's up. See that? It's just threatening, half threatening, not doing a full strike. The one little drop of venom from those fangs, and you've got it. Deadly stuff. Highly powerful, very powerful neurotoxic venom. Watch how he curls up again. Coils into a striking position. Keeps coming forward. He keeps coming forward. He wants to get to me. He just wants to get away here. And you put him down. Whoa, look at that strike. Isn't that incredible? Just got to get him to settle a little bit. But I'm not. He thinks I'm trying to harm him. Of course I'm not. Isn't that fantastic? I can actually pick him up like that. Isn't he gorgeous? Of course, these guys will eat local frogs, okay? And some of the local frogs are poisonous. But that poison is not going to affect the snake at all. And he will swallow them down. But the cane toad is something different. The poison in the cane toad is extremely toxic, and it's a foreign poison. So if this guy tried to grab a cane toad and swallow one of them down, he's definitely going to die from that effect. You can gently put him down. I'm trying to get him into a good pose. Look at that, he's settled so nice. I must get another fight. Don't move, don't move. Thing is, with snakes, you've got to move really slowly, and get that shot. That's fantastic. Whoa, stop, wait, don't go now. Settle down, whoa, close to me, too close to me. Okay, that's all he wants, his little dark place to hide away again. Off he goes, back into there. Okay, so, it's time to move on. It's going to be a really, really hot day. Death adders are particularly susceptible to cane toads. So that's exactly the sort of shot I'm after. A picture that records these animals before the toads come in and change everything. But if I'm to find more reptiles, I need to move on. The Kimberley is a patchwork of different habitats, each a home to different reptiles. All have something new to discover. I've spotted a natural spring on the map, in a valley just along the escarpment. Even though this is rainy season, any permanent water is still likely to be a good place to find wildlife. But getting there could be easier said than done. Heavy stuff. Solid stuff.
Like somebody got stuck here and abandoned their vehicle. Let's hope we can get through. Tough going, I tell you. Everywhere's flooded. Wonder if those guys ever going to get their truck again. What I was afraid of. The worst thing that can happen, just one big hole. Really deep. I have to check this out.
It's right on the diff. That's just what I don't need. You can never tell under the water just how deep the potholes are on each side.
The first rule of snake hunting, be prepared. The second, be lucky.
Nearly there. I got it. Low. Solid 3. Should be good. Okay. I've got the winder control with me, so I can control the winch from inside here, backwards and forwards. But I must drive the vehicle as well. As soon as that winch pulls tight, and I've got traction, and I can use the wheels as well. There we go. Let's see what happens. It's coming, it's coming. There are... Now the back wheels are in the same hole. I'll wind it up, wind the cable, wind. And it's out. Yeah, we're out. Fantastic, we're out. Excellent.
After hours of driving, I find the valley. Now I just need to track down the freshwater spring. But before I spot the spring, I spy something else.
Look at that. Oh, that's a blue-tongued skink. That is one of the most beautiful lizards you get in Australia, the biggest skink they have. The reason they call it the blue-tongued skink is because he's got a very, very blue tongue, which he's demonstrating quite clearly now. Look at that. Hey, show me your tongue. Look at that. Dying to get a picture of these guys. They're so beautiful and so easy to work with. He's so pretty, hey? So pretty you are, yes. Listen to me hissing. You can actually hear him hiss. Interesting thing about these guys too, they'll use this blue tongue as a defense mechanism. The skink will flatten his body out when he's approached by a predator and turn it, tilt it to one side and lift his whole back, giving himself the hardest and most difficult part to bite. And then he'll stick his tongue out quickly like a blue flash. And the hope is that he would actually frighten away the predator. Sometimes if he gets mad at you, he'll actually do that for you. He's giving me a little hiss, flashing the tongue just a little bit, but he's not showing aggression, which is fantastic because he's quite happy being here with me. I want to get a nice picture. Let me see if I can pose him up here. This would be a beautiful shot. You relax here for me a bit, just for a second, for a picture. Come on. He says, I won't. Fantastic. All right, just relax for 1 second. Try 1 second. Bring your head this way. Got to gently coax him into a position. There we go. He says, I don't want it. Hello. This is, of course, what's going on here. This guy's grabbed me and I'm up in the sky now. Show me your tongue. He says, I won't. Back legs again. Oh, I'm so ticklish. Look at him. He stretches his neck. He says, oh, it's too much to bear. I can't take it anymore. He says, I'm a ticklish lizard. Stop it. I don't like it. I'm so ticklish, but he hangs on with his feet, his little feet over there. He says, I'll just hang on over here while he gets himself off here. Look at this. I don't like that. You should have bitten me long ago, eh? And you're such a friendly boy. Yes. Okay, I'm going to show you this guy's favorite trick now. Put them down on the ground. The first thing they do is put their heads down, and then they burrow under the leaves. That's how they hunt their food. And go scavenging for stuff. Off he goes, right under that pile of leaves. Burrow. Oh, just look at that. It's completely disappeared. You'd never say there's a lizard under there. A big lizard as well. Thank you for that, boy.
You wouldn't think it to look at them, but blue-tongued skinks are savage predators. They'd certainly take on a cane toad, but they'd probably die in the process. The recent rains have made finding animals relatively easy. Reptiles and amphibians are flushed out of their burrows and are out hunting for food.
beautiful little boy. Hello. This is something I've always wanted to photograph. Oxy. Hello, look at that face. Just look at that face. He's so gorgeous. Isn't he wonderful? This is a magnificent tree frog. And I'm not just saying that. They actually called that. That's what their name is. Oh, you're talking to me. He's talking to me. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at that gorgeous face. Yes, he says, yes, oh, Dad, yeah, I've come to visit with you here in Australia. Yes, I know, it's lovely, hey? These are gorgeous. Oh, these are beautiful. I've got to get some pictures. Come on, we can do some photos with you. What an animal. Oh, just got to get some photographs of this guy. He's absolutely stunningly beautiful. Aren't you gorgeous? I thought you're talking to me. He's so talkative. What you saying? He says, God, I don't like this. I don't want my picture taken. All right, let me try like this. Let's see if I can get go. Just for 1 second, if you'll just relax. I've got to get something of this guy. Stay calm, stay calm. That's fantastic. Lift your foot a little bit, lift your foot a little bit. Isn't he beautiful? He's stunningly beautiful. You get tree frogs all over the world, in all the tropical areas. But in Australia, this is the biggest tree frog you get. I'll pick him up again. Whoops, there he goes. And he's talkative as well. Let's get some pictures with you down here, hey? Frog's got a moist skin. It's good to keep him moist. Look at that. Look at the size of his legs, his jumping legs. Look how long they are. You see that? Look how big, eh? You can imagine what a long jump he can take. He can take a long jump. But also with these pads they've got on their feet, these little suckers, look how he grips on my finger straight away, see? Anything they get a feel of, bring my finger in there, he just folds on and he sticks straight away. Turn them upside down and you can see them very clearly, one on each toe. Very big and round, and they got webbed feet. So not only can they jump, cling to walls and trees and rocks and things like that, they're great swimmers as well. If you look on the front, he's got suckers on the front as well, but he's only got 4 over there. Yeah, he's still talking to me over here, aren't you? He's chatting away. And if you look at his mouth, you'll see that his mouth stretches from that side right around to that side. They got enormous jaws, and frogs are good feeders. You'd be amazed what powerful feeders frogs are. They've got broad tongues which they pull right back into the throat. Yes, you're talking to me. He says it's true. It's all true. Exactly what he's saying. You going to come to me? I'm going to get a picture just like that, if I can. Isn't that fantastic? He says, oh, this guy's not so bad after all, eh? Never ceases to amaze me how animals quickly settle down. Reptiles especially, and amphibians like this. Settle down quite happily as long as they feel they're not in danger. Oh! I can't get up. I catch him, he's wet. Just incredible. Perfect swimmer, tree climber. Everything you want in one frog. See how he poises himself? You'll see straight away when they want to take a jump, they first angle themselves and he's got his eye focused on something. And when he's decided, look, he's looking around, like, is there something there I should reach for? Is there something there I should reach for? And when he finally decides to go, that'll be it. Fantastic.
It's hard to believe it could get any hotter, but hopefully this stream will lead me to the spring. This is it. After the journey I've had, this feels like my very own Garden of Eden. This hidden valley is a sheltered pocket of forest amidst a vast arid landscape. And it might just provide the ideal habitat for one snake I'm particularly keen to find.
an animal known locally as the night tiger, a tree snake with a reputation for aggression. Even in this glade, it's unbearably hot. A snake out in the open here could be dead in less than an hour. And that's why a tree is not always necessarily the best place to find a tree snake.
Look here. You can see what I found. Exactly what I was hoping I might find in this area. It's a brown tree snake, but he's completely settled under the rock. I imagine that he's actually hiding during the day and keeping himself well hidden over here until the night, because these are actually nocturnal snakes and they move out in the night. He's obviously got a little hidey hole inside here where he can hide himself away when he doesn't need to be. There we go. Very prehensile snake. You can't miss that straight away. I mean, these snakes are designed for climbing trees. The whole body is prehensile. But when they get bigger like this, and this is quite a large one, they might easily come down to earth to feed as well. Just bring him out there gently. There we go, got him. Ah, he's stunningly gorgeous. Look at the coloring on this guy. Is that a snake or what? Oh. He's fantastic. Look at the power in that body. You understand that? He's a completely prehensile snake designed for climbing trees. He can hold his whole body out. He can stretch himself out and he flickers the tongue just to smell and say, what is that? I'm looking at something. Can I go there? Is that fantastic? Look at him holding his body erect. What a muscle power, eh? This guy's so gorgeous. He's so beautiful. I've just got to get some photographs of him. The colors are phenomenal. I cannot believe the pattern of stripes over here. If I can put him somewhere where I can be about eye level in a tree, I might get some really good shots of him. I've got a nice bit of tree over there. If I can get this guy just to settle on the tree, I should be... biting at me. I should be able to get a couple of nice photographs. See him taking a strike at me? He's getting fed up now. He's had enough of this childish nonsense. Just get that cap off. This is quite a nice spot over here. I'm going to try and get him to hang on to the tree and pose for a couple of photographs. Go up. Hold it, hold it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, striking at my lens. There we go. Ah, man. Oh, he gets away so quick.
I've got to get at least one photograph.
Get up there quickly. Maybe I can get a little bit closer. All right. All righty. I've got him. Wasn't that good luck? Wasn't that good luck? I got him. He nearly got away. And I got him right back where I want him. But I got to get my camera. There we go. Okay. Enjoy that little bit of escape, eh? These are arboreal snakes, and mostly they do spend their time up in trees. And this is a good thing too, because they're feeding up in the trees. They're feeding on lizards and they're feeding on birds. Sometimes maybe even some tree frogs. My hope is that these guys would survive the plague of cane toads.
It would be a great shame if a snake as beautiful as this was wiped out from here.
Calm down quite well, yeah, now. There we go. He's posing quite well. That's the shot. That's it. At last he's keeping still. Look at that shot. Isn't that great? That's a typical striking pose. He's ready to let me have it if I don't let him go. That's photography. Wow, it's fantastic. Oh, come on, there we go. Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, he gave me a couple of nips here. Nothing to worry about there. I didn't give him a chance to actually start chewing his way in. But I'm going to take him up here. Just let him slowly move away. He's keen to get up there. Watch him go now. Watch how easily he moves. You can't even see the muscles working, and yet he's moving with total grace. Isn't that fantastic? Gorgeous snake. Wonderful stuff.
In less than a year, the cane toads will have reached this remote wilderness.
My assignment was to document some of the wonderful creatures that live here before the cane toads arrive. It's a sobering thought that I might be one of the last people to see these particular animals alive. It's frightening to think that if nothing is done to halt the advance of these cane toads, that everything I've seen and all the wildlife in these areas are potentially threatened to the point of extinction. Maybe I'll return in another 10 years, but who knows what will be left.